exactly.
Which
That's
is critical there. Well, you know, there's so many things that obviously having the common theme and the four principal groups all working together and knowing that this has been a 30-year process. Obviously, seeing the strength of Conway Main Street must be thrilling for you.
It really is. You know, Main Street's, when they did the national accreditation for us 6 months ago now, I guess, and one of the things they're very impressed with was the number of memberships that we have, because the funding for Conway Main Street is part city, some grants, but it's mostly memberships. It's like 1/3 city and grants. And it could change 60-40, but the predominant, the financing part is memberships of corporations, and you know, it runs from $100 memberships for interested citizens to $250 to $500 to $1,000 to $2,500 benefactors. So it's a tiered membership with benefits and so forth. And but it's very impressive. We have 150 members who believe in what we believe in. And I did a workshop in another city in the state, and they don't have any memberships. It's all funded by the city. So they said to us, gee, we wish we had members because we'd have ownership in the process. And so that's powerful. Of course, we have to keep all those folks together, but you can do it. And all of this united them. I mean, this is what was so powerful.
Absolutely, and will only get stronger
as
this is rolled out. And as you say, seeing the flags in downtown, saying whether you're heading to the river or otherwise, seeing those flags in downtown, it's only going to get stronger.
And they picked up on a couple of pieces that are just absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. Okay, I was telling them about, you know, when the planners came several years ago now to look at the riverfront in Conway, they said, one of the things they said was, what a unique opportunity. Because in Conway, South Carolina, being a river town, you did not take the urban grid to the river like they did in Savannah, like they did in Charleston, like they did in Wilmington. Last week I was in Baltimore, like they did in Baltimore. Took the urban grid. They said Conway did not. And that's, you can thank the Burroughs family who had lumber yards down there and never let the urban grid get beyond 2nd Avenue. They said, you have an opportunity to let this river walk meander. They picked that up like big time. Meander in Conway.
Look at that.
Just powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, just powerful. And that's true.
We can pick that up.
Just meander.
And it is
great
that way.
word.
And we've done that. A lot of folks come down for multiple reasons. I was down there about a month ago, and it was amazing spending the day walking around Conway just to get a good feel and popping into different locations. Popped into the mandolin store.
Yeah.
And saw Jennings Chestnut there.
And then they picked up on something we've all heard 1,000 times, a million maybe, walk on water. Well, you know, some might think it's a miracle. You might call it a miracle, but in Conway we call it downtown.
Look at that.
So they took the Riverwalk idea and created walk on water, which obviously you can do. You know, and that Riverwalk is
not a while. Absolutely. I mean, it's not just a
and we're expanding
sliver.
it.
Sure.
Now you're going to be able to walk all the way down, come around the peninsula to the north of the bridge, and that whole piece is under construction as we sit here, and walk over there and go on Kingston. So now it's really, this whole new one is about $1.3 million or $4 million to change that. Then they came up with this: discover our river hospitality.
Wow, look at that.
You know, y'all come back.
Y'all come back somewhere, Larry. Where have I seen that?
That's down at one of the Burroughs Company. That's the Lower River Warehouse, built in 1880.
Near that restaurant.
On the historic restaurant next door to the Sidewheeler.
Next to the Sidewheeler, sure.
And that building, by the way, when they built it, it was so low. At Hurricane Flood, it had 38 inches of water in that building.
Oh, yeah, I had to.
So that
had to.
So we can't do a whole lot in there. It's a great place for festivals and reunions and that kind of stuff. I love this one. In Conway, the trees have the right-of-way.
Look at this. We're handing these
really
off. Look at this. We should have Larry holding those up, but it's just as...
which is very true. You know, the trees do have the right-of-way. The roads make way for trees.
Throughout, It's not just... This isn't the only example. I mean, it's throughout.
No. We have over 200 oak trees, most of them with names. Right. On May 4th, we're naming the one at the library.
Right.
That's kind of exciting. And then I love this one. This one is called 536 Spaces, and they're all free.
Now, share with viewers that.
That's how many parking spaces there are in Conway. Of course, we hadn't told people how to find them. That's part of the wayfinding problem.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And there are lots of them, but we haven't shown you where to go. And people will find them if you tell them where they are.
And they are free year-round.
Year-round.
Now, come on.
Totally. Year-round free. There's no...
The Herald just a couple weeks ago had parking meters on the cover highlighting the expected $1 million that'll be raised in the city of Myrtle Beach, obviously, from the parking meters.
Sure. I know it's a source of revenue.
This summer, which is, but that is not an issue there in downtown Conway.
No, that's a source of quality of life, you know?
Not to take anything away from the city of Myrtle Beach, but that's a
fine.
great
It's
highlight.
just a different way to look at it.
Absolutely,
You know?
to be there and to be able to experience that, and for folks to come over, as you say, just taking a point or 2 points, 2% of the 14 million folks visiting the greater Myrtle Beach.
Because the perception is we don't have much parking. Well, the answer is we have a lot.
Right.
And one of the things the consultants did was really stellar too. They took the imprint of the Walmart store and parking lot and overlaid it on downtown, and it took up 2 full blocks.
Oh yeah.
From Laurel, to Main,
right,
and from 3rd to 4th. I mean, the whole thing. And you think, gee whiz, holy smokes, yeah, So we got to work on the perception. That's all. And that kind of billboard does it.
Larry, I don't know how you do everything you're doing. I mean, you talked about being in Baltimore recently. Of course, Easter weekend's just passed. I know down on March 11th, I think you were down in Costa Rica, was it?
That's
Putting
correct.
on a bilingual conference. Of course, Quinces 5. Last time we were together, we were over at the Coast Carolina Association of Realtors, and you at the time were the person putting together the inauguration of Dr. DeCenzo. How do you slow down? Aren't you a Murrells Inlet Creek rat? I mean,
I am. We go down there right after Easter.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we do. And we're very involved at Easter time. I mean, the St. Paul's is very involved. Jenny's in the choir.
Just this past weekend.
This past weekend. And so we had all those events, and it was great. And I always tell my grandchildren about the Easter chicken.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because,
what about the Easter chicken?
Yeah, the Easter chicken. I mean, the Easter chicken does all the work. Bunnies just are delivery. It's like UPS. It's UBS, United Bunny Service. They deliver stuff. But the chicken has to lay those eggs, right? So you have to give the entrepreneur his or her due diligence.
I love it.
Due recognition. But, I always tell the grandchildren about the Easter chicken.
Don't forget
for
the
you.
Easter chicken. That's right. I'm going to have to use that with Emma Claire now. That's,
you can use it.
Next Easter. I'm sorry Easter has come and gone, but we will definitely take advantage of that next Easter. What about this conference down, and how often do you do bilingual conferences? We're talking about Spanish.
Yes, sir.
Spanish, which is one of your great loves and partly the reason you met the love of your life.
Yeah, that's how I got here, studying languages. But yeah, we had about 50 folks in Costa Rica at a very nice country club, like the country club of the whole country. Very nice in San Jose, in the capital. Had people from all walks of life. We did the quintessential system presentation.
Right.
But they're very interested in their schools, so I did some Renaissance while I was down there.
Right.
Showed them the power of the carrot principle, as well as some things that we've all learned from Toyota and how they became a world-class company.
Right.
And did a piece. A lot of my experience with learning as leadership on the West Coast, I unfolded for them. So
that was a multi-year.
Yeah, that was a one-year thing for both of us.
Sure.
A big piece of, I guess what I told them were insights. But it's, all my slides are in English, basically. Although I think because of the impact we had, a couple of weeks ago, that we're going to go ahead and translate it all, because it was great, received well.
Right.
Because you see the slide in the PowerPoint in English, but I'm talking about it in Spanish and using examples in Spanish.
Oh, come on. You're doing all that in Spanish, Larry.
Yes, sir.
You're that proficient in Spanish to be speaking to Costa Ricans
I'm bilingual,
in their native language. Wow.
That's
That's
it's a challenging deal. We started at 8:30, finished at 4:30.
Right.
So it's pretty intense.
That must be. Now, you get caught up on some nuances of the language. I mean, are you that proficient?
Well, when I get stuck, I just ask them to help me.
Right.
And they say, oh, it's this or it's that. Because language nuance is circumstantial always.
Right.
It's never literal, because you send them down the wrong highway. Yeah. And I'd get stuck, and somebody would help me. I said, I'm going to get stuck on something. Because my Spanish is Castilian, so it's a little different in Spain. It's kind of like Britain and the U.S. And so if I say something wrong or I got stuck, they say, oh, no, así se dice, eso, es otro.
I love it.
Rendición de cuentas is how you say accountability.
Listen up. That's how you say accountability.
Yeah, rendición de cuentas.
That's
It's,
hilarious.
keeping account is how they do it.
Now, of course, you taught Spanish here locally, Conway
I
High
have, yes,
School,
right.
and I believe at Coastal as well.
Yeah, Coastal as well.
Do you ever see any of your former students, Larry, that kept up with Spanish or even got as proficient or more proficient than you?
I do. I see both sides of that coin. Some who paid attention to what I said to them in those days, that this language will be valued to you someday.
Right.
Because I grew up in California, and I could see what was happening out
What
there.
would happen, sure.
With I lived there, and so I told my kids, in '65, this is going to be a valuable language in your lifetime. And some of them believed, and some of them didn't believe. The ones who believed, like Bonner Guidera, who went to Spain, she's bilingual, married a Spaniard, phenomenal teacher and educator, and bilingual. And some who I find and meet, who say, Mr. Bill, you were right. I should have paid more attention. Yeah. So the spectrum is from Bonner and several others to those who said, "Man, you were right. I wish I could speak Spanish today." I said, "Well, 3 words a day, and in a year you got 1,500.
Listen up. That's right.
Doesn't take a whole lot.
It's
Just
those basics. I know. I wish
bit.
Folks can go online to CarolinaPeople.com to see your trips with us there at CCAR and to hear you talk about power naps, which is a great one. I'm sorry we've run out of time, but what's continuing to drive you, Larry? Keep you focused on working to get everyone in Conway working together, obviously at Coastal Carolina and folks in other countries following a similar path.
Well, I think it's the importance of a noble goal to make your community a better place. Whether it's in the neighborhood you live in, or the city you live in, or the county you live in, or the state you live in, or the country you live in, or whether it be the U.S. or Canada or Costa Rica. And to do that, we've got to grow people. So, my noble goal is to grow others.
That's a great goal.
Inside out.
Yeah, and I'm sorry we've run out of time, Larry. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
My honor.
Keep up that goal. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Larry Biddle coming up next. I wish you'd been here off camera to hear Larry explaining the charrette, the process that went along to make this thing happen. The Conway charrette's for real. You'll have to come back. We didn't have time. We ran out of time. But you can take your time to meander the city of Conway. Go online to ConwayMainStreetUSA.com and discover this tremendous river hospitality of the home of Myrtle Beach, Conway, South Carolina. Larry Biddle, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.